Auzubillahiminashaitanirrajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I am Rubab Zahra on the behalf of University of Management and Technology from the Department BS Biochemistry. Today the topic of my presentation is surface chemistry. Here are some contents: adsorption and desorption, adsorbate and deadsorbent, examples of adsorption, difference between adsorption and absorption, mechanism of ab- adsorption, thermodynamic aspect, types of adsorption depending upon the nature of forces, difference between physiorption and chemisorption, factors affecting adsorption, application of adsorption, catalysis, colloids, coagulation or flocculation. Flocculation. First of all, we will discuss about the adsorption and desorption. Surface chemistry deals with the phenomena that occur at the interfaces or surfaces. Adsorption. It refers to the accumulation of a substance at the surface than in the bulk. It differs from absorption, which involves accumulation of a substance in the bulk than at the surface. Sometimes both adsorption and absorption occur simultaneously. This is called sorption. The reverse process of adsorption is called desorption. What is the difference between adsorbate and adsorbent? The substance which gets adsorbed is referred to as adsorbate, and the surface over which absorption occurs is called adsorbent. Adsorption is surface phenomenon. Solids as adsorbent should be finely divided, should have a large surface area. Therefore, charcoal, silica gel, alumina gel, clay, colloids, metal in finely divided state act as a good adsorbent. Example of adsorption: adsorption of a gas by charcoal, adsorption of a dye by charcoal, purification of raw sugar, removal of moisture from air. Difference between adsorption and absorption. It is the phenomenon in which particles of gas or liquid get uniformly distributed throughout the body of the solid. It is the phenomena of high concentration of particles of a gas or liquid on the surface than in the bulk. Occurs at uniform rate, rapid in the beginning, and rate slowly decreases. For example, anhydrous calcium chloride absorbs water. And another example, silica gel absorbs water vapors. Mechanism of adsorption. Adsorption is due to the fact that the surface particles of the adsorbent are not in the same environment as the particles inside the bulk. Inside the adsorbent, all the forces acting between the particles are mutually balanced. But on the surface, the particles are not surrounded by atoms or molecules on all sides. They possesses they possesses unbalanced force or residual attractive forces or residual attractive force. These forces of the adsorbent are responsible for attracting the adsorbate particle on its surface. The extent of adsorption increases with the increase of surface area per unit mass of the adsorbent at given temperature and pressure. Thermodynamic aspect. Entropy decreases during adsorption. Delta S is negative. For the processes to be spontaneous, delta G must be negative. Delta H should have sufficiently high negative values as negative T delta S is positive. Hence, adsorption is an exothermic process. Types of adsorption depending upon the nature of forces. Forces which hold the molecules of the adsorbate gas on the surface of the adsorbent solid. Adsorption is classified into two types: physical adsorption, chemical adsorption. Difference between physiorption and chemisorption. Forces between the adsorbate molecule and adsorbent are weak van der Waals forces. Forces between the adsorbate molecules and adsorbent are strong chemical forces, chemical bonds. Low enthalpy of adsorption 20 to 40 kilojoule per mole. High enthalpy of adsorption 80 to 240 kilojoule per mole. Not specific in nature, highly specific in nature, reversible or irreversible depends on the nature of gas. More liquefiable gases are adsorbed easily depends on the nature of gas. Gases which can react with the adsorbent show chemisorption. Low temperature is favorable for adsorption, decreases with increase of temperature. High temperature is favorable for adsorption, increases with increase of temperature. No appreciable activation energy is needed. High activation energy is sometimes needed. It depends on surface area. It increases with an increase of surface area. It also depends on surface area. It increases with an increase of surface area. It results into multimolecular layers on adsorbent surface under high pressure. It results into unimolecular layers. Factors affecting adsorption. Nature of adsorbate. A gas which has greater intermolecular attraction can be more readily absorbed than a gas which has less intermolecular attraction. Nature of adsorbent. Since absorption is a surface phenomenon, hence an adsorbent having large surface area act as a better adsorbent. Temperature. Adsorption is exothermic. This is because delta S for the process is V. Get, since gas getting adsorbed is becoming less random. To make delta G negative, the value of delta H should be sufficiently negative. Hence, adsorption generally decreases with increase in temperature. However, chemisorption first increases and then decreases with increase in temperature. This is because it requires energy of activation, but after it is achieved, further increase in temperature decreases adsorption. Pressure. With increase in pressure, adsorption generally increases. However, the increase is non-uniform. The behavior can be explained by Frendulite isotherms, which is based on the relation minus x divided by m minus x over m is equals to kp1 per next per minute is equals to mass of adsorbate per unit mass of adsorbent, and all these are the temperatures. That is thus at very low pressure x by m is directly proportional to p, while at very high pressure x divided over m is independent of p. Application of adsorption. In gas mask, coal mines to control humidity, removal of coloring matter from solutions. Blue lake test for flotation, process chromatography manufacture of ammonia, hydrogenation of vegetable oil production of high vacuum, curing diseases. Drugs are used to kill germs by getting adsorbed on them. Catalysis. It refers to the process of altering the rate of reaction by using a catalyst. The catalyst refers to a substance which alters the rate of reaction without itself getting consumed in the reaction. There are two aspects of catalyst activity. It is the ability of catalyst to alter the rate of reaction. It can be increased by increasing the surface area of catalyst. Selectivity. It is the ability of catalyst to guide the reaction towards particular product formation. Depending on the phases of catalyst and reactant, it is the two types: homogeneous catalysis and heterogeneous catalysis. First of all, we will discuss homogeneous catalysis. It is a catalysis in which the catalyst is in the same phases as reactants and products. For example, C12H22O11 plus water plus is equals to C6H12O6 plus C6H12O6. Heterogeneous catalysis, it is the catalysis in which the catalyst is in a different phases from reactant and product. For example, N2 plus 3H2 FeMO is the catalyst and we have the product 2 ammonia. Heterogeneous catalysis. It includes the following steps: diffusion of the reactant on the surface of catalyst, adsorption of reactants on the surface of catalyst, reaction between the reactant while remaining absorbed on the surface of catalyst, formation of product on the surface of catalyst, desorption of product from the catalyst, diffusion of the product away from the catalyst. Enzyme catalysis. Enzymes are complex nitrogenous compounds which are called biocatalysts. For that is, they catalyze the various biochemical reactions occurring inside the bodies of living organisms. Enzymes are highly specific, that is, a particular enzyme can only act on a given substrate only. Enzymes are highly efficient, that is, a single enzyme can catalyze millions of molecules in a minute. It is because the rate of regeneration of an enzyme is very high. Enzymes are basically special proteins. Hence, when subjected to extremely high temperature, they get denatured. That is, they lost their biological activity due to the change in their tertiary and secondary structures. Enzymes are most activate between carbon and a pH range 5 to 8. Mechanism of enzyme catalysis. The most acceptable mechanism is lock and key mechanism, which can be described by the following diagram. It should be noted that the shape of enzyme is complementary to the shape of substrate. The enzymes use sets functional groups present at its active site to carry out the reaction on the substrate. Shape selective catalysis. The catalytic reaction, which depends on the pore structure of catalyst and the size of reactant and product molecule, is called shape selective catalysis. Zeolites are the example of shape selective catalyst. Sodium alumina silicates, in which some silicon atoms are replaced by aluminium atoms. Chemically, zeolites are they it find application in cracking of petroleum. Colloids. Colloids are the heterogeneous mixture which contains fine particles of dispersed phase spread throughout a solvent like medium called dispersion medium. The size of particles of dispersed phase varies from 1 nanometer to 1000 nanometer. Colloid may be classified as follows: on the basis of phase of d by p and d over m, on the basis of size of colloidal particles, multimolecular colloids. Those collides in which the particles of dispersed phase are small, but when they aggregate together, they form particles of colloidal dimensions. For example, sulfur sol. macromolecular collide. In these collides, the particles of dispersed phase themselves are of colloidal dimensions. They are generally formed by macromolecules, for example, DNA and proteins, etc. Associated colloids. These colloids show dual nature. They act as an electrolyte at low concentration but behaves as colloid at high concentration. Soaps are example of these type of colloids. CMC critical misle concentration is the minimum concentration above which soap molecules aggregate together to form soap micelles. Craft temperature is the temperature above which micelle formation takes place. On the basis of affinity between D over P and D over M. Lyophilic soles, those soles in which the particles d over p and d over m strongly attract each other, are called lyophilic soles. It literally means liquid loving or solvent loving soles. Lyophilic soles are quite stable, hence it is not easy to separate them. Also, they are reversible soles because even if they are separate, they can be formed back again by simply adding the d over p to d over m. For example, gum, gelatin, lyophobic soles, those soles in which the particles d over p and d over m have a very weak attraction. It literally means liquid heating or solvent heating soles. They are comparatively unstable. Also, they are called irreversible soles because once separated, it cannot be formed back again by mixing d over p and d over m. Preparation of colloids. Chemical method. Soles can be prepared by carrying out chemical reactions. For example, double displacement, hydrolysis, oxidation, reduction, etc. Here are the some examples. Brady's are method. This method is generally used to prepare metal soles. In this method, the metal whose sole is to be prepared is taken in the form of an electrode and is immersed in the dispersion medium. When an electric arc is struck between the metal electrodes, the intense heat is produced which vaporizes the metal, which then condenses to form particles of colloidal size. Peptization. It is the process of converting a precipitate into a colloid by shaking the precipitate with the D over M and small amount of electrolyte, which is called peptizing agent. The colloidal particles absorbs one of the ions of the electrolyte, causing development of the charge, stabilizing the electrolyte, causing the development of the positive or negative charge on precipitates, which ultimately break up into smaller particles of the size of colloid. This is the diagram of the peptization. Purification of colloids. Dialysis. Process of removing a dissolved substrate from a colloidal solution by means of diffusion through a semi-permeable membrane. The apparatus used in this method is called dialyzer. It consists of a bag made of parchment or cellophane. The bag is filled with the impure soil to be purified and is suspended in a tank through which pure water is circulated. The impurities of electrolytes present in the soil diffuses out of the bag, leaving behind pure soil in the bag. Ultrafiltration. Colloids can be also purified by passing it through a special filter paper, in which the size of pores have been reduced by passing a solution of collodion 4% nitrocellulose through it. The pores trap D over P particles but not D over M. The D over P can then be added to pure D over M to obtain a pure sol. Properties of colloids. Colligative properties. Since colloids have a large molar mass, the value of their colligative properties is small. Color. The color of colloid results due to scattering of light by the colloidal particles. The exact color of given wavelength of the light depends upon the two factors: the size of the colloidal particles, the nature of light received. Tyndall effect. It is defined as the scattering of light by colloidal particles. It is responsible for making the path of light visible. The scattering of light depends upon the wavelength of the light used, the size of colloidal particles. It is absorbed when two conditions are satisfied. One of the most important properties of the colloidal solution is that colloidal particles possesses a definite type of electrical charge. In a particular colloidal solution, all the colloidal particles carry the same type of charge, while the dispersion medium has an equal but opposite charge. Thus, the charge on colloidal particles is balanced by that of the dispersion medium, and the colloidal solution as a whole is electrically neutral. The stability of the colloidal solution is mainly due to the presence of a particular type of charge on all the collider present in it. Due to the presence of similar and equal charges, the colloidal particles repel one another and are thus unable to combine together to form larger particles. Brownian motion. It refers to the random zigzag motion of particle of d over p as seen through a microscope. It takes due to the continuous collision of particles of d over p with adsorbed and other particles of d over p and d over ma. This motion is independent of the nature of the collider but depends upon the size of the particles and viscosity of the solution. Smaller the size and lesser the viscosity, and faster in its motions, it doesn't allow the particles to settle down and is responsible for a stability of the soles. Based on the nature of charge, the colloidal soles may be classified as positively charged and negatively charged soles. Positively charged soles are metallic hydroxide soles. For example, positively charged sole, metallic hydroxide sole, hemoglobin, soles of basic dyes such as methylene, blue, etc. Negatively charged soles, metal soles, for example, are gold, mercury, copper, platinum, etc. Soles, metal sulfone soles, for example, As2S3, CDS, etc. Soles, starch, soles of acid dyes such as Congo red, etc. The colloidal particles have a tendency to preferentially absorb a particular type of ions from the solution. A colloidal particle usually absorbs those ions which are in excess and are common to its low lattice. This preferential adsorption of a particular type of ions impart a particular type of charge to colloidal particles. For example, when a ferric hydroxide sol is prepared by the hydrolysis of ferric chloride in warm water, the colloidal particles of FeO3 formed have a tendency to absorb preferential preferentially the Fe3 ion present in the solution. This is because Fe3 positive ions are common to the lattice of Fe3 particle. The Fe3 positive ion thus absorb impart positively charged to the colloidal particles present in the soul. Electrophoresis. Due to presence of particular type of electrical charge, the colloidal particles present in the colloidal dispersion move toward a particular electrode under the influence of an electric field. The direction of movement of the colloidal particle is decided by nature of charge present on them. If the colloidal particles carry positive charge, they move towards cathode when subjected to electric field and vice versa. The phenomenon is called electrophoresis and may be defined as the movement of colloidal particles towards a particular electrode under the influence of an electric field. The phenomena of electrophoresis clearly indicates that the colloidal particles carry a particular type of charge. The property can be used to find the nature of charge carried by colloidal particles in a colloidal dispersion. Electrophoresis is an important phenomena and finds several applications in industry. Coagulation or flocculation, the phenomenon involving the precipitation of colloidal solution on addition of an electrolyte. A small amount of electrolyte is necessary for the stability of a sol because the ions of the electrolyte get absorbed in colloidal particles and impart them some charge. However, when an electrolyte is added in substantial amount of the positively charged ions of electrolyte neutralizes the charge on colloidal particles and compel the soul to get coagulated. Hardy-Crusel's rule. The coagulation capacity of an electrolyte depends upon the valence of ion responsible for causing coagulation, as we have seen above. The ion responsible for causing coagulation is one which carries charge opposite to that present on colloidal particles. For example, a positively charged sol gets coagulated by negatively charged ions of the added electrolyte. The rule can be stated as the greater is the valence of oppositely charged ion of the electrolyte added to the colloidal solution, the faster is the coagulation of colloidal solutions. Thus, higher the charge and oppositely charged ion, greater its coagulating power. For example, the coagulation power of different cations for coagulating a negatively charged sol of As2S3 follows the order aluminium 3 ion greater than the barium 2 positive ion and greater than the sodium ion. Similarly, for the coagulation of positively charged salts such as FeO3, the coagulation power of different anions follows the order FeCN6 4 negative greater than P4 3 negative greater than SO4 2 negative greater than chloride negative ion. Methods of coagulating of colloidal solution. Electrophoresis. In electrophoresis, the charged colloidal particles migrate to the oppositely charged electrode and get discharged. This results in the coagulation of a colloidal solution. By mixing two oppositely sols, when two sols carrying opposite charges are mixed together in a suitable proportions, the colloidal particles of one sol neutralizes the charge present on the particles of the other sol, and both get coagulated. By persistent dialysis, we have already seen that a small amount of electrolyte is essential to make a sol stable. When a sol is subjected to persistent dialysis, the traces of electrolyte also pass out through the membrane. Protective colloids, lyophobic salts, such as those metals like gold, mercury, platinum, etc., are not very stable in the sense that they get easily coagulated. In the presence of electrolyte, this poses a big problem in their storage and usage. Contrary to this, lyophilic salts are much more stable and do not get coagulated easily. Under similar conditions, it has been observed that in the presence of certain lyophilic conditions, colloids such as gum, arabic, gelatin, starch, etc., they are hydrophobic. Souls acquire greater stability towards coagulation, that is, they get protected and do not get coagulated easily. When an electrolyte is added, the process of protecting a lyophilic soul from being coagulated on addition of an electrolyte by the use of lymphophilic colloids is called protection, and the lyophilic colloid used for the purpose is called protective colloid. For example, the addition of gelatin to a gold soul protects the latter from being coagulated on addition of sodium chloride solution. The exact mechanism of protection is not very clearly understood. However, it is believed that the lyophilic colloid particles get adsorbed on the surface of the colloid particles present in the lyophobic soil. The adsorbed lyophobic particles thus form an envelope around the lyophobic soil particles and protect them from the action of electrolytes. This is all about my topic of the surface chemistry. Hope so you enjoyed my presentation. Thank you.